Okay, guys, good evening and welcome to our last session for this semester. We are now on chapter 15, module 15 of our subject IT or ICT 410. So, our topic for this evening is about network mapping. So, our objectives are as follows: discuss the importance of network mapping. Number two, value the importance of network mapping. And number three, understand the basic concepts of network mapping. So for network mapping, guys, this network mapping is the study of the physical connectivity of networks. So example of this is the internet. And network mapping discovers the devices on the network and their connectivity. So it is not to be confused with network discovery or network enumerating, which discovers devices on the network and their characteristics. However, such operating systems, open ports, or listening to network services are the ones that you're going to manipulate for network mapping. So I think we did a network map during our subject in your second year, and I know that you're familiar with network mapping already. But since it's part of our topic, and it is one of the aspects of um, our subject, so we again tackle it up. To continue with, the field of automated network mapping has taken on greater importance on networks becomes more dynamic and complex in nature. That is why we have the large scale mapping project. So the large scale mapping project reiterates some images of the first attempts at a large scale map of the internet. So it was produced by the Internet Mapping Project and appeared in the Wired magazine. Now, what is the purpose of these maps? These maps are produced, are based on the layer 3 or the IP level connectivity of the internet. So, if you're familiar with the OSI model, and based on the OSI model, it depicts some aspects of um, connectivity for layering in the IP level. So there are different aspects of the internet structure that also had been mapped. And more efforts to map the internet had been improved by more sophisticated methods, allowing them to make faster and more sensible maps. So an example of such an effort is the OPTI project, which is attempting to develop the system capable of mapping the internet in a single day. If you're familiar with graph theory, then you can use or better understand the maps of the internet and to help choose between many ways to visualize the internet map. So some projects have been attempt to incorporate geographical data into their internet map. So these examples are locations of routers and nodes on the map of the world. But others are the only concerned with representing the more abstract structures of the internet. So such as a location, structure, and the purpose of the IT place. Now, if you can see your module, guys, on figure 53, and you have there the visual representation of the part of the internet wherein it's, if you can see the map or the picture of the internet as a whole, you can say that it is like the constellation of the stars. So the itsura na those stars na nagarapta sa Milky Way. So the map there is purely abstract, and it that depicts not the pinpoint location of the IP addresses of different no, computer stations. So these computer stations are are called nodes, and these nodes are depicted by a point, by a single point. So can you imagine the single point wherein it has several computers at hundreds and thousands in numbers? So as you can see also the part of there, when you zoom it in, you can see their IP addresses being put into place and linked together. Okay, so pertaining to the world map in the enterprise network map, this one, according to this, many organizations create network maps of their network systems. So what they're going to do with these maps can be made manually using simple tools such as Microsoft Visio, or the mapping process can be simplified by using tools that integrate auto network discovery with network map. So one example being the IP Fabric platform, and many of the vendors from the notable network mappers list enables you to customize the maps and include your own labels. So these vendors are the persons who's being um, make buying and selling of network spaces. So most of the time, these vendors are often than not your IP providers. So notable network mappers list enable you to customize the maps and include your own labels and undiscoverable items and background images. So there are sophisticated mapping, which is using adept softwares to help visualize the network and understand relationships between end devices and the transport layers. What are these? These are the things that provide services. And mostly than not, network scanners detect the network with all their components and deliver a list which is used for creating charts and maps using network mapping softwares. Items such as bottlenecks and root cause analysis can easier spot using these tools. And there are three main techniques used for network mapping: SMNP use based approach. Second is the SNMP approach retrieves data from the router and switch MIBs in order to build the network map. So the active probing approach relies on a series of treasure route like probe packets in order to build the network map. And then the route analysis approach relies on the information from the routing protocols to build the network map. And each of these approaches has advantages and disadvantages in the methods they use. So we're not going to reiterate the advantages and advantages of these things for network map, for the establishment of the network map, just because we're not concentrating more on this. You have already your datacom subject, and I hope that you've studied the network protocols as well. So when you speak about the internet mapping techniques, there are various techniques that is used to map, uh, and there are two prominent techniques used today to create internet maps. The first one is active probing, and the other one as path interference. So inactive probing works on the data plane of the internet, and it is used to infer internet topology based on the router adjacencies. As path reference, interference, is the second, and it works on the control plane and infers autonomous system connectivity based on BGP data. So what is this BGP data? This is a speaker which sends a 19-byte keep alive messages every 60 seconds to maintain the connection. So nowadays, it is used by big companies for rerouting communication server lines. Pero if you're a common node and you're using an ordinary server, I think a ping is already a possibility of registering network protocols. So, do pareho lang na nga nanuktok ka sa network sa kalibutan using the ping. Now, to give detailed information about these techniques for the active probing, this relies on treasure route like probing on the IP address space. When we speak about treasure route, this treasure route is a term used by if you're familiar with the network um, topology nga ring topology. So ang treasure route is ang dogapalibot na siya nga cycle within sa network space. So what we're going to do is for the one cycle, you have to wait one cycle in order for you to compute or to complete one information that is being passed on from the one network to another. So ang gitawag kada is one cycle, no? Na if you're going to use treasure route topology for active probing. So this kind of probing report back IP forward paths to the destination addresses. What does it mean? This is the combination of the path that one can infer router level topology and give access to the advantageous paths that is being returned by the probe to continue the actual forward path that it takes for the network to respond. And it is also more likely to find peering links between the ISPs. So this is your ticket for bridging the gap between you and your ISP. If you're going to go type, like for example, if your ISP is Globe Telecom, and you're going to type on your URL 192.168.254.254 and you press enter. And if you're going to enter based depending on your password, and you can enter the portal of your ISP, now it is called an active probing. So you have to access there, yeah, the user account and the admin account. So the admin account, for the admin account, you can have unlimited access. At the same time, you can do anything within the network range, and you can manually select your channel and the megahertz nga kung pira ang gina upload download kay inyong network. For the user naman, you're able to make adjustments within sa simple or the basic contents of your internet access based on your modems. Pero between the two guys, I think nowadays it doesn't matter if you're an admin or a super user because internet access depends upon the connectivity and the population dissemination for one internet. Uh, Paano ko siya i-describe? This is based on demography, no? So we all know that there are ang ratio ka one cell tower sa mga users all over the Philippines. Not only with one network but to all networks sabi no kung isipon. Actually dasig-dasig via internet naton kay duro nga cell towers sa ginapang-obra nanda. Pero just this December, the actual cell tower is 32,000 people per one tower. So amo da ka congested ang network naton sa Pilipinas. So kinahanglan pa naton mga more or less 10,000 to 12,000 towers nga ipatindog para nga magdasig yung internet naton. So can you imagine if you're from Pasay City, mas maswerte pag ganit taga San Enrique no. Kaya ang network naton hindi sa shadow ka congested. If you will notice if you go to Pasay City and you open your data lang sa cellphone lang ninyo, pwede nyo daw makomparar kung kung din mas madasig ang San Enrique or Pasig. Kaya different ang cell tower nga ginagamit mo nga sa Blaw. Based on the demography, kung isipon nyo guys, mas populated ang Pasay City compared to San Enrique. So meaning to say, more populace means more need for data connection. Kay dapat nagaproportion dapat ang one cell tower into different kumpara ang tao nga nagagamit ka phone. So can you imagine no, based on a certain study, nowadays ang ratio ka phone there are two phones per person kuno. So 2:1. Isa ka tawo gapan nag-iya kaduha ka cellphone. And can you imagine lang ang duwa nga ng cellphone kung nakatakod sa internet. So can you imagine how many users are using one cell tower? So dapat that is one thing dapat nga i-consider ka isa ka ISP nato 'no, ang ratio ka population sa ano. But anyway, i-fast track man kuno nandaday but then again mabudlay nga ano 'no, kabudlay balado karon, at the same time kay pandemic guys, limited lang ang access naton. And I know that some of you are eager already to start the face-to-face classes, but that is only limited lang. So most probably than that, it is applicable to laboratory classes. Now, why are we referring this to our topic? Because it is part of you can actually compare it to the topic for active probing. And because we're using the ISP of the connection interconnectivity based on a certain network types. So how does it affect your connectivity? As I've said, connectivity is being done through various things or devices. And one aspect of that is demography. For the ASPAT interference, this one uses various BGP collectors on collective updates and tables providing information publicly. So there is a so-called path vector that is attributed as path. These paths are the connectivity placement wherein you're being put into a certain network nga naka-bottleneck siya. Pero you can do various things. Like for example, you can attach yourself to the network and visualize the things for the connectivity. So unlike active probing, the as path interference basically give you the path vector as the original path for the signal that is being transmitted. And this signal is being recycled into various formations for other people. So though pareho lang balad guys sa tethering devices. Now, if like for example, if you don't have a load and ang classmate mo may load siya and matether ka lang ka connection ka na. So being a good friend and you provided him with the internet access as Wi-Fi sa hotspot. So you can use also the connectivity kung may ara siya kag ang sa imo. Pero more often than that, you're using the data that nga kanahalin. So gintether lang. Amo na siyang kinalain sa active probing sa inyong ASPAT interference. So as active probing, in simple terms lang in simplest terms, active probing is direct contact to your IP network. And ASPAT interference uses nodes or paths para makakonect siya. Okay. So our activity 29, guys, you're going to refer to network map. And what you're going to do is to design and draw a local area network using Visio or any other software. So you can refer to local area network lang any design for the local area network. You may use ang dati pa ninyo nga design, nakarang una. Ang sa subject ninyo, what I mean nga, nagligad nga tuig or karang magligan nga tuig. For our code of the day, guys, please pay attention. After the lecture, I'm going to activate your code of the day. You can answer it until 10 o'clock this evening. So the question is, what is the study of the physical connectivity of networks? Example, the internet. Again, for the code of the day, what is the study of the physical connectivity of networks? Example is the internet. So thank you guys for attending our lecture. Ad astra per sapientia. It means to the stars through knowledge. So do you have any questions, guys, on our topic for this evening? I think our activity is self-explanatory, and you can just choose 10 nodes or 10 connections that you wanted to put in your local area network. And the design for that is up to you. No? So you can use various design, but the most popular design is ang topology ninyo is the ano yung pinakano na popular. Ang ginagamit lagi natin tulad do. Daisy chain or star topology or router type. So research anay, then you can connect it. Ang simplest na design is the bus, no? Pero it's not applicable now because it's too slow to have a bus connectivity, no, or network. So you can research, guys, and based on your research, you can actually make your own. Use only 10 nodes, meaning 10 computer units. Visually, you can use Microsoft Visual. If you don't have Microsoft Visual, you can use Microsoft Word or other softwares na similar sa Microsoft Visual. So do you have any questions, guys, before we end our session for this evening?
No, sir.
Okay, so thank you guys for attending our class. And next week, I will not give you any more activity or what I'm asking lang is please pass your activity lang and comply with the ano natin. So to better check your standing, please go to the Google Classroom and look for your activities. So you can see there sa classroom ninyo, uh, it's there tanan ninyo nga ano guys no, centralized man to. So pwede nga ano, lantawa lang ninyo dyan and kung ano yung standing ninyo, kung pira ka percentage. So like for example, if you go here, let me present to you our now to better understand your grades. What you're going to do is to look for your name or to you go to your to people here or to the grades. So for people anay, you can select your ano yourselves or the grades of your classmates. Like for example, if I select here, altogether you can see the average. So so far, wala pa matapos ang ano, you can see the percentage. The 94.1 is equivalent to 1.5 ata or 1.5 na. So 1.5 ang standing pa lang ni Kier. As you can see, may mga activity siya nga wala pa ma-checkan. May missing, meaning to say, wala niya kapasa. This one. Or turned in late. Ma-consider man da anong turned in late, may grade man da nga equivalent. Okay, so what ano pa? What else? If you're going to go to to grades, if you're going to click grades, I will be displayed ang detailed din yung activity. Makita nyo din kung ano yung kulang ninyo. So this one, ang pula nga da, wala ma-comply. And ang makita ninyo nga may grade, pati inyong quizzes, ang code of the day, ari man di tanan-tanan. So, hindi ka mo magtalang or hindi kita mas mapos ganito karon kay naka-centralized doon yung grading ninyo no. So, hindi naton doon kinanglan nga i-solve ja. Automatically pagpasa niyo sa classroom guys, mag-gradean ka mo lagi. And sa tulad pa lang, you can check yung grade ninyo kung pera. So other than that, I can select Pearl Joy siguro na a standing niya pa lang as of now is 93.45. So automatic na yan, guys. So you can write your you can go to your name and see for yourself kung pera pa lang yan ano ninyo. Your percentage.
Sir, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Yes.
Dang hindi na ano sir namon guro sir makita kay ano sir ang student la kami hindi namon ma-view.
Hindi ninyo why ko ma-share siguro. Pero ang standing pwede niyo makita ang percentage, hindi.
Hindi sir.
Okay, sige. Since this is public data, pwede ko dyan ma-share sa ano ninyo. I will download lang yung CSV nga file. It can be converted to Excel file. So that you can open it in Excel format, no. I will post it lang siguro sa ano ninyo sa uh, ano naton sa dang FB page o sa FB group. However, I will not post it today kay wala pa makita ka final. So I'll post it siguro after the final na lang. Na kay may final pa kamo guys. So, to better check lang sa activity ninyo, I think pwede nyo da makita sa ang lantawan lang ninyo sa inyong cellphone. Pwede nyo dyan makita ang inyong lacking activities. So, lantawan ninyo sa guys ha. Pwede nyo da malantaw sa phone ninyo actually, no? Mm. I just don't know lang sa settings. Settings, kung naka, ano siya. No, sa grading, no? Grading. Overall, grade calculation by category. Pwede nyo man makita gali a grade nyo. Naka-show overall grade to student. So, pwede
Oo, sir, pwede
Pwede
gid man.
Oo, naka-on siya ho. Pwede nyo da makita palang yung percentage ka grade ninyo Oo. Sige. Ang percentage nyo, that is not final yet. Although, ano ko lang siguro, ang lucky, or ang tanan ninyo doon nga, scores, regardless kung may kulang pa or why doon, guro, sa subject. Ang sa turned in nga guys, don't worry, it can be, will give grades sa turned in. Mag-compute na lang sa ano ninyo siguro. So, much better if starting now, don't wait for another SEM or 1 year for the compliance. So, amo lang na siguro guys. Ay, wala na ko sang dugang guro nga iambal pa or whatever nga. No? If you still have concerns regarding your grade, you can actually send PM or PM me or send a message or ano sa FB. Amo lang da. So, wala na. So, God bless guys and good luck. Next week is our we don't have a schedule yet, ang specific na schedule gid no. Pero the examination is the same with ang nagligad nga SEM. So I think mga 70 items lang siguro no. Ang quiz ninyo multiple choice tanan. This time don't be complacent no. Because your questions ang ano ko is not the original question nga ano ninyo. Maybe I will check ano na ano ko ng question no gani tawag i-edit butangan ko lang gamay nga ano guys nga i-restructure na para nga ano gid hindi na kita mag ano lang gid oo especially sa mga questions nga true or false or ano so that's it okay so thank you. I will stop now the recording if you don't have any more inquiries. May dayon pa? May concerns pa ka mo?
Why, sir?
Why naman. So, thank you, James, Rachel, Faith, Krisa, Jean, and Kier, Nika. You don't need to turn on your microphone. Screenshot ko na lang daan. Para sa ano lang, guys. Documentation. Okay, so see you. God bless, guys, and good evening.